years and still talking, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before. You love GabNet. You love the hosts and the citizen panels. In fact, you wish you could take them wherever you go. On your computer, log on to gabnet.net, where our stream is available around the clock. On your TV, GabNet is available on Roku with the same around-the-clock stream, plus all the latest episodes of GabNet programs, old favorites, videos, and tons of celebrity interviews. When you're mobile, we're on your iPhone or iPad with podcasts accessible via iTunes or Stitcher, and that same around-the-clock stream on TuneIn. If you don't want GabNet wherever you go, well, the hell with you. Go ahead, listen to your old-fashioned talk shows that do things in the same old predictable way. Meanwhile, the rest of us will be having fun listening to talk like you've never heard it before on GabNet. GabNet's creator and founder, Alex Bennett, is always looking for ways to stay on the cutting edge. He first revolutionized commercial radio. He built a career on being one of the first to speak to the new generation of the 60s. Then he reinvented himself on morning drive radio, where he was the first to use a live studio audience and guest comedians each morning. Another ratings winner. Next, Alex took off for outer space as he brought his unique perspective on politics and news to the satellites. Always a pioneer, his next stop was to create a unique format that no one else had ever done, with citizen panels on the internet. What's next? Is there any place left to innovate? Are there any stones left unturned? Introducing GabNet Live on Roku. That's right, GabNet Live on Roku. No lies, because you can't lie on the internet. GabNet is now available on your TV. You can listen to GabNet's 24/7 network stream, or browse your favorite GabNet shows from the archives, just like on gabnet.net. But that's not all. You can also watch video of Alex's archived live stream TV programs, as well as his televised Friday Night Ramble. It's all there for you, and all you have to do is turn on your Roku device, search the Roku store for GabNet Live, and add the channel to your lineup. Then sit back and enjoy. It's GabNet Live on Roku. Thanks, Alex.
Jack Bishop of GabNet's The Intersect, Tuesdays through Fridays at midnight Eastern Time. It's everything from what's going on with the new royal couple to what's happening with that grumpy old man in the Oval Office. Movies, music, old TV shows, you name it. From thoughtful discussions to out-and-out fights like my grandma would referee between my uncles. So from mild to wild, join me, Jack Bishop, Tuesdays to Fridays at midnight for The Intersection on GabNet Live. It's talk like you never heard it.
Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before. 5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, diddly dee 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 pop pop pop, boobity pop pop the most infected city in America. It's the Ramble with me. I'm Alex Bennett, and we'll be here until midnight Eastern Daylight Time, night here on the other coast of the United States. Let me see here. There we go. Got some, got to turn the audio up. I had the audio all wrong earlier and so on. I think maybe we should start off our program, I guess, with our little, this. Here we go. There we go. Our coronavirus update. Isn't that nice? See, we have the graphic for it and everything. Ta-da! Okay, yeah. Well, there's about the only thing there is to talk about. I mean, I'm serious. Can you think of anything else that there is to talk about? If there is, please call us up on this program a little bit later and let us know, because we'd sure like to know, if you're, talking. Well, whatever. Anyway, let's take a look at the map, which is a screen that we put up every night. That we get, where does it come from? I can't remember exactly. Arcgis.com. 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 And you can go there and you can get this wonderful little map with all the little red dots on it that show where in the world we are infected. You may notice that the United States, which is over here, you can't see my cursor, and I have no reason to know why, but I thought I had it so it would have my cursor, but it doesn't. But the United States, we're almost all red, okay? Europe, forget it. Europe is like, it disappeared, in that sea of red. Up here in the, this is like, let's see here, where is this now? Let me see here. If we go to there, that's the United Kingdom. They've got 3,605 deaths out of 38,168 infections. We can go to the Netherlands, and they've only got 1,487 deaths. Boy, that's a lot for them. Germany, we've got 1,275 deaths. And Norway, only 59 deaths. And in, let's see here, Denmark, 139 deaths. In Sweden, 358 deaths. That's all. Finland, 20 deaths out of 1,615. I wonder why. You notice, what seems to be, excuse me, let me make this smaller here. What seems to be very obvious is that there are certain areas that have clusters, like the United States has a cluster. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger so that you can. Oops, it's very hard to do this because it's a little on the sensitive side. But here's the whole United States. All right, let me and look at that. See the clusters here, in New York and Philadelphia and Washington, that whole area very inundated. We go up to Detroit, inundated. We go up to Cleveland. We got some there. How many in Cleveland? Oh, only 13 deaths in Cleveland, Ohio. Washington, D.C., only District of Columbia, only 15 deaths. But you get out here in like Montana, and there are places in Montana where there's virtually no deaths going on at all. So you wonder. Here, for instance, is Muscle Shell, Montana. They've had 0 deaths, and you go to Mager, Montana, 0 deaths. 0 deaths in Cascade, Montana. I've hit almost most of the Montana states. Here is Gatlin, Montana, 0 deaths. There are 0 deaths in Montana. Interesting. That's a state that you would think might have a few more. No deaths there. I'm looking at all the different cities there. And there's 1 death, I think, in all of Montana that I can see. But anyway, In the United States, we have right now, the total deaths are now up to 7,152 out of 277,828 infections. All right. Is that bad? Well, it's not good, but still, when you look at it at a percentage compared to some of the European countries, it's not that bad. So far here in New York City, we've had 1,867 deaths, and we're heading towards the 2,000 point. You compare that though to Italy, for instance. We have 700. We have 277,000, almost 278,000 cases in the United States. Total deaths of 7,152. Yet you go to Italy and you've got only 119,000, almost 120,000, but there's 14,000 deaths. Compare that to our 7,000. So we have half the deaths of Italy while having almost, well, not quite, maybe 2.5 times the number. So they really are hurting. Spain, 119,000. That's about, and they've got 11,198. So when you compare that to the United States, you know, and the amount of infections that we have, it's not bad. It's not terrible. You know, let me get this out a little bit so we can see the rest of the world. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do that. Okay. Then after we go to Spain, and then we go to Germany. Germany's had 1,275 deaths out of 91,000. So percentage-wise, they're doing a little better than us. And then you go to China. Now, here is the disparity. They say they had 82,518 cases, and they had total deaths of 3,326. There are a lot of people now who are saying that that is not a believable figure, that they really think that the Chinese are lying to us, that they've had far more deaths than that, they're just not saying it. Proof of that is a number of burials that seem to be taking place in, well, God, stop that. I just want a decent map out here. The fact is that China has not reported all the deaths, okay? And they minimized it. And what the problem with that is, it wouldn't be that, okay, so they're liars. Okay, so how does that affect us? So let me turn on my light back there, right on the air sign. There we go. How does that affect the situation? And the answer is that it affects it in that if we are trying to create data and graphs and predictions and see trends, that if they're lying about what happened to them, then it throws the whole trend off. If we knew how bad their situation was, then we could add that into the models and get a better idea of where this whole thing is going and how epidemic it is. Now, if you go down to South Korea, now here's the situation. South Korea, when they first heard of this, and it was kind of next door if you consider they're near China, they nipped it in the bud. They've had 10,062 cases and 174 total deaths, and nobody thinks that they're lying in particular. It's just that they became very draconian about it. They said nobody comes out. If you go out, you got to wear a mask. I mean, they were very tough on it, and that's the way they curbed it. Here, we get this whole idea. I mean, I heard last night from, I think Phil was saying, well, we can't lock everybody down because that's un-American. It's un-American. Well, there will be no Americans if we don't do it. You know, I think that if for a short time we just say, look, you just can't come out. You got to stay home. And don't be seen on the street without a mask. If you're going down to the pharmacy or you're going to the grocery store, which, you know, is considered a necessity, fine, but you better be wearing a mask. And you say, well, how do I get a mask? Because there's no place to buy them. I've hoarded all of them, so you can call me. But anyway, I've got, I have some masks, and we're getting some, oddly enough, from China that are in the mail, but they haven't gotten here yet. But it's really it's turned into something. And here, look, the graph down at the bottom here. You see, this was right down here. This was in the United States. Well, wait, oh no, we're looking at South Korea. Let's look at the U.S. Okay, right here is the beginning of the jump up, which was on the 13th of March. Today, up here, look at that climb. Look at that. Look how that goes right there. See that? Yeah, that's not good. So anyway, I'm still alive. Okay. A lot of people might be asking, well, what happened to your next door neighbor? Because there was some police outside yesterday, and they were saying they were waiting for an ambulance and whatever. And we put a note on our neighbor's door saying, we wonder why everybody's out here, and we want to know if you're okay, being neighborly. And she left her phone number, and she got a message from him saying that his wife had died. Now, we don't know if it's from the coronavirus. We tend to think maybe not. Number one, she died at home, and he was just waiting for the body to be picked up. Which, in a situation like this, that's maybe a very difficult thing. But in any event, I don't know if she died of the coronavirus. If she did, she had a lot of other conditions going on. She had very bad asthma. She she'd had some surgery on her skeletal structure, whatever that would be. I think it was like a hip. And I think there were a few other problems that she had. So, but we don't know if it was from coronavirus. It could be from complications from the coronavirus. But anyway, she died, and we feel very bad about it because they're really two very nice people. And we enjoyed them as neighbors, and they were good neighbors. And in fact, just last week, the husband showed Marjorie how to put these masks on properly. If you don't know how to do it, it's very simple. Just the simple surgical mask or even the N95s. At the top, there is a metal kind of ridge. And you take that and you scrunch it down on your nose. And then it forms a seal around your nose area. So that's how you do it. And he showed her how to do it. And whatever. Anyway. So far, we're okay. But I'll tell you about the rest. I've canceled all my going out. I told my doctor, you want the blood test? I'll get it in like 3 weeks, but I'm not getting it this week. Not right now. I'll get it once we start going down the other side of the apex. Okay. And they said that's okay. They understand. They really understand, that I don't want to put myself at risk. So then I got a bill today for my copay on my insurance for the $40,000 seed implant. And I have to pay $380. That's not bad. It'd be better if I didn't have to pay anything, but, what the hell? We only pay for our insurance, we get our money's worth, even if I have to pay something. So I have had up to this date, between the putting in of the spacer and let's see here, the radiation that I had, and this thing. And then there was a $16,000 charge for, I think, not anesthesiology, something else. The whole thing came to more than $100,000, my procedure. But hopefully it will save my life, So And I didn't have to pay much of that. Maybe I paid 1,000 out of my own pocket. So, can I complain? That would be looking a gift horse in the mouth. Now, every day, our asshole president gives a press conference, and it is, at best, a plug for his reelection. It really doesn't tell us much. It doesn't make us feel better. It doesn't really do much of anything. And now some people at various networks are starting to complain. MSNBC's Chris Hayes and CNN's Don Lemon each spoke out against their network's decision to run Donald Trump's coronavirus press briefings live, as critics contend that they have provided a platform for the president to trumpet dubious claims about his response and even to spread misinformation at a time of crisis. They have morphed into something akin to Trump rallies without the crowds, Hayes said. The briefings were where he cast his failures in the most positive light. Yesterday, the man who initially dismissed the corona threat, remember, we've all heard it time and time again, said that if 100,000 persons died from the virus, he and his team would have done, quote, a very good job. They don't want him to run it. Rachel Maddow already has said that if it were up to her, she'd stop carrying the briefings live. Later, of course, CNN's Don Lemon said, I'm not sure, if you want to be honest, that we should carry it live. I think we should run snippets. I think we should do it afterward and get the pertinent points to the American people, because he's never, ever going to tell you the truth. He said the briefings have become Trump's new apprentice, where he wants his base to think the media is being mean to him and they're attacking him. You know, I heard a quote. I was watching, it's a great documentary, if you get a chance to see it, on Hulu. And it's called Mike Wallace is Here. And it is a documentary about Mike Wallace. And it is one of the best documentaries I have seen in recent times. And I suggest wholeheartedly that if you have Hulu, watch it. Mike Wallace is Here, it's called. And one of the things that was brought up in there was that the first way in which dictators grab their power and seize their power and maintain their power is by demeaning the press and making the press look bad. And that's exactly what he's doing. It's an old tactic. It was used by Stalin. It was used by Hitler. It was used by just about every dictator around. Is they tried to blunt the press, and I watch him in these press conferences, and rather than honestly answering a question, he's like just going crazy, putting down these press people in the most vicious of terms. And so I'm really, it's really kind of amazing what he does. I'm trying to, there we go. I want to make this smaller. Okay. I have to go do a few things here, because I do everything on this show. Okay. So anyway. It's a very good reason to believe that that's exactly what he's doing. This is good. Yeah, CNN turned to its own anchors on Monday when Trump brought a succession of CEOs to the stage to offer him praise and outline what they've been doing to assist in the response to the pandemic. Among those who spoke was longtime Trump supporter and former heroin addict Michael Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow, which is making face masks. It's obviously above my pay grade. I don't make the call that we take them or not, Hayes said. That's Chris Hayes over at MSNBC. But it seems crazy to me that everyone's still taking them when you got the MyPillow guy getting up there talking about reading the Bible and doing a major plug for MyPillow. Yeah, I love how he snuggles his pillow. Anyway, so that's there's a lot of backlash about these. On the other hand, I mean Cuomo's daily briefings are just a delight. Oh boy, I'm going to sneeze. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have the worst sneeze in the world. Nah, that's allergies. What can I do about that? What I can do about that is more of this. This, uh, it's a steroid I take. I shouldn't do as much as I do of it because it's going to stop working. Anyway, let me turn on the lines here. And once again, I say to the people calling that if at some point I feel I have to go to the bathroom like crazy because I can get these sudden urges, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm going to have to, turn the show over to somebody and have them be the host for a few minutes while I run out and relieve myself. As you know, it's all because of this whole prostate thing, but I don't want to get you all involved in that. Let me see here. Where are we? Okay, so I put myself on, so it's active. By the way, my wife today was using Zoom, and there's no way, by the way, we can use Zoom to do this program. Okay? It's Charlene Martinez, ladies and gentlemen. She's the first one here. Let's see if she's got her mic working. Do you have your mic working?
It's my headset.
Yeah,
It's okay.
okay, we're not going to put you up yet because we're going to put Jeff Zeller up because he's already there. Okay, and let's see here. I'm going to wait to put your picture up because you're in, I think, the other group here. Let me see here because if I take the people who were on this first template last night. And Josh Wheeler, there we go with Josh Wheeler, and I think I'll put Josh in the first place here. Well, wait a minute, Rob Alfano, yeah, Rob was there last night. Okay, so now I simply have to, let me see here, Rob's there, okay. Now what I will do is I will go here to, oh, there's Kevin. Okay, now let me just, hold on a second. Number 4, we'll put in Charlene Martin. Oh, Charlene was there last night. Okay, so cancel that and go here to put in Kevin Hogrider. And let's see here. Who else do we have here that I didn't put up? Rob Alfano. Rob's there. Rob, bump. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Phil Myers calling now. Hold on. Oh yeah. Who do I want to get in there? 5. Oh boy. This gets a little confusing for me. I'm not a young man anymore, and I used to be able to do this without even thinking twice about it. So there's 6 of those people. Now I got one more person to put in there. I mean, I'm trying to think who is it, or do I have them all? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay. So there's somebody that I don't have there. Who am I not seeing?
Jeff, looks like.
Huh?
Looks like you don't have Kevin.
I don't have Kevin? Oh, I thought I put Kevin in there. Oh, okay. All righty. Well, then what we'll do is we'll go to 7, and that will be Kevin Hogrider. There we go. Hogrider. Come on.
Don't think twice. It's all right.
Okay, I think we got everybody, right? Is that it? Is that our group so far? Okay. Good evening, all of you. How are you? Are you all safe and sound?
Amazingly enough.
Yeah, just worried.
Just worried. What are you worried?
Very worried. Yeah.
What are you worried about? Tell me your worries.
Well, the number of new cases is accelerating.
Well, we knew that was going to happen, though. You know,
30,000.
the only person in this country who didn't know that was going to happen was Trump. So
Fauci. They played a number of quotes from Fauci back in January, and he was saying that same thing Trump said. So you can't just.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard those. Where did you hear them?
I heard them tonight. They were clips played by Hannity.
Okay.
Matter
All right.
who played them. They were Fauci's voice. I mean, it was Fauci. They weren't coming up with, fake shit. It was
Said
Fauci.
what he said 3 years ago too.
No,
Yeah.
it was recent stuff. January 26th actually was the date they attributed to.
Mm-hmm. To Fauci.
Yeah.
I believe everything Hannity puts on his show.
Well, you do, but the thing is, it doesn't matter who puts it on. I mean, they have the clips, they play them.
And you believe anything they say.
It sure sounded like him.
Mm-hmm. Well, all I'm saying is that he saw the light a lot sooner than Trump did. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
No, because Fauci was saying
Phil,
it wasn't a big deal.
Phil,
Within a couple of days,
your president is killing us. Okay,
Trump put the
your
travel ban
president is killing us. I
You
don't care
call
about the
xenophobic?
travel ban. He put a travel ban on China because he didn't like China.
Yeah.
He put it on everybody else too.
No, he later on when it was too late. When it was too late.
Not like China. The thing is, that's where the disease came from.
Phil.
All right.
The disease was always here somewhere. It just never had a chance to get out.
They weren't tested for it.
The disease had already been here by the time he closed
Yeah,
the door.
disease is the hate that you guys have for Trump.
You're right. We hate him because he's killing us, Phil. Because
and if
because of his
Yeah,
rampant because of his rampant lack of caring and his amazing ego, he's killing us.
Hey, if he cured cancer, you'd say he was killing us because he cured cancer, and people aren't dying fast enough to open up parking spaces in New York.
If he cured cancer, he'd use half of the conference to pat himself on the back on what a great job he's doing.
Yes, he deserve it.
Were there death
Bullshit.
threats
I haven't
on
heard Cuomo
Fauci?
say one time what a great job he's doing. He's
haven't
never
heard
patted
Cuomo-
himself on the back.
Cuomo is all talk and no action. He hasn't done a damn thing.
Oh,
All
really?
he's done-
Oh, really? I watch him every morning because he makes me feel
Wow.
better. Because I feel I'm being told the truth.
Yeah, he made you feel good. You felt good, so you love Cuomo. But
Phil, can I say this unequivocally? You're a
Yeah.
moron.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
You're a
I'm the only
moron.
one
You're a
that knows what
moron.
he's talking about on this thing. The rest of you are all attracted to bright, shiny objects.
Mhm.
If it's the bright, shiny object, if it feels good and it sounds right and it's presented right, then you love it.
Yeah,
Common
thank
sense is
you.
Gone.
What were you saying?
Common sense is gone.
Yeah,
There
it's
is
gone.
Crazy. Do you see him today?
Yeah.
The thing. As soon as you ask him a question, he goes crazy.
Yeah, let me go to Patrick. He's got his hand up. Hi, Patrick.
Yeah, Phil,
Yeah.
don't put me in there, please.
Well, you're in a little circle. I can't see you.
Oh,
Guilt by association.
it's up, Patrick.
Oh well, how do you feel about Cuomo and what he's saying? He hasn't done anything. What's he done? What's he done? Except
What's he done?
everything-
Phil, want me to give you a list?
Yeah,
You want me to give you a list?
yeah. Try that one.
He got about 5 different places in the New York area to place these secondary hospitals, not the least of which was the Jacob Javits Center. And don't say Trump did that. He did not do that. He did not do that. He did not do that.
In there, who provided all that stuff?
That stuff was
Trump did
provided by.
follow his lead.
He's always trying to take credit to
Well,
Trump.
see, it's governors that are supposed to do
Punch right in
that.
their face.
No, it's the United States in a case like this that's supposed to do that, Phil. It's a federal government that can take charge of something like this and get it in line.
But
Governors should compete over each other.
Phil,
for pricing.
your boy is a cold-blooded killer.
yeah,
It's really-
he hasn't killed enough Democrats yet.
He's trying. He's only shipping the supplies to the red states. He won't ship them to the blue states.
Sent the Hope, the ship the Hope,
Yeah.
and it's in the harbor. And out of 1,000 beds, only 20 of them are occupied.
That the reason. Why is that, Phil?
That's because your man your governor
Yeah.
made a big stink how he needed so many beds, so many ventilators, so many this, so many that.
Phil, you are so misinformed. It's ridiculous. The reason
it is unbelievable.
Tell him do you know the reason why, Rob? Instead of me having to tell him why?
Well, because at first the Navy told them no COVID patients on board the ship.
That's right.
Right. So now you got to move patients who are already in the hospital to this ship.
In other
That's
words,
a complication in the middle.
Shut up, Phil, and listen to him for a
and
second.
no maternity, right?
Or new ones.
Phil, shut up and listen to him.
So they got 20,000 there. Is that what you said? How many did you say?
At 1,000 beds, and
They
there's
got
20.
And that's because New York agreed that what they would do is put non-COVID patients on that boat. Well, there are only 20 patients that are non-COVID to go. Well, let me finish. To go over there, and this was because they felt they didn't want to have the ship contaminated with COVID.
So you mean that every bed in the hospitals in New York are now occupied by COVID patients and
Or
not
maternity
patients? So there's only 20 of them that we're
What are
in.
you even saying? What's your argument at this point?
My argument is here you've got 1,000 beds.
At what time in his show did Hannity say this all?
They're putting stuff in the Javits Center. They're putting stuff in the park. But meanwhile, they got a place here with 1,000 beds, and they only got 20 Vente.
We just told you why, Phil.
Oh, you made up a story.
That's not made
up. No, we
up.
didn't make up a story. That's the reason. That's the reason. Wait a minute.
They were putting them in the hallway.
Okay, shut up, Phil, and listen to Kevin. Let him talk. Yes, Kevin.
This morning I heard that I saw that Bellevue was full and they were putting them in the hallways. Elmhurst has been 95% full. I don't know what other hospitals are out there, but that's pretty full to me.
So in the whole city of New York, only 20 patients were non-COVID patients that they could.
No, there's other hospitals. I'm sure there's other hospitals.
They don't go to ship
in the greater New York area. I imagine that's probably true.
1,000 beds, and there's only 20 people there. All right. And you're telling me that people are in the hallways? So there's got to be people.
It's at Bellevue.
People there.
14,000 cases of COVID patients in New York. 14,000.
Phil, you're not listening to what we're trying to tell you. Yeah, I can't deal with it either.
I can't deal with it.
Yeah. You know.
Well, I can't. Your head in the sand.
No, we're telling you exactly why.
You're the one who's sticking your head in the sand.
That's why it's so bad.
I'm the one that's standing up to the BS.
Hold on a second. Can you just shut up for a second? Just shut up for a second, okay? Let somebody else have a little breath here. Hold on a second, just a minute, Jason. Bree, I'm going to have to hang up on you because adding one more person, we don't get your picture at all. Or maybe no, you're not sending a picture.
Yeah, you could add him. It
Bree,
would be
I know. I can't add him, Phil. Didn't you hear why? Listen to things we say. Bree, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Is your camera on?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, we're not getting a picture on you at all.
Okay, hold on.
I'll leave you here, but you're going to have to jump in whenever you need to jump in.
There's a fan on too.
Then you have a fan on as well.
Yeah, I'll mute myself when I'm not talking.
Yeah.
But my question is,
wait a minute. Before you go into that, we need to. We'll go into whatever you're going into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who believes that we have better leadership now in this crisis than if we had Barack Obama or George Bush in charge? Is there anybody who, if you could make the trade right now and say, I'd rather have, one of these two in charge, would you make that change?
Yeah,
because
Bernie Sanders.
I would in a minute.
Either one.
What we have right now is absolute chaos. It's unbelievable. Every state has to decide. The more people will die. And if one more person dies, I just can't. I don't accept that. And I'm willing to give Trump the benefit of the doubt on a lot of cases, and I do think he's doing things. He has to do things, but do I think he's doing the best job he could? And going back, no, I don't think he's doing the best job he could. and I have more trust and faith in our previous leaders. I don't care about their party. I have more trust and faith in them.
Okay.
Now, we're stuck in the situation, so I'm not just going to bash Trump and go over each individual thing. I hope he can get his act together and get it right. But more people are going to die because of this administration than previous ones. In my opinion.
Did Jason? Did you have your hand up at one point there?
Yeah, it was just basically to kind of ask Phil. So it seems like you're just kind of downplay all this shit. Would you go on and do my job right now, going into people's houses, putting in internet in Detroit?
By the way, we have a hum from somebody.
No.
Okay.
So you want me to respond?
Yeah, I asked you a question.
I know, but he's the ringleader.
Well, obviously not Phil. But go
When I
ahead.
ask you a question, I'm the ringleader.
Answer his question.
All right. Would I do your job? I'm doing a similar one. I'm going to people's houses. I'm doing measures. I'm sending my installers in.
He's keeping his business open and going to take $52,000 anyway.
Well, my business is closed to the public, and what the
yeah. Phil, I want to know something. I've been wanting to ask you this for 24 hours. How does it feel to be a socialist?
Oh, it's good. It's good. Outside,
because if this money giveaway isn't socialism, I don't know what is.
What I'm doing is I'm supporting the American way by keeping people paid so that they
I
don't
see.
have to
Bravo,
go on
Phil.
unemployment.
Thank you for being such a patriotic
So that they will
American.
come back when the doors open again. They'll be able to come back. But to finish Jason's question, yes, I would, with proper gear and distancing, go into people's homes, especially if I verified that they weren't sick. And I'm not sick.
That's nice with
How
proper
do you do
gear
that?
and proper distancing and making sure they're not sick. Not like a motherfucker will lie to you because, oh no, we're not sick, but I need my internet.
Yeah, well,
You don't have the test. How do you know if they're sick?
And I can't even get tested. How do I know that I'm not sick to go and infect somebody else?
You are. It's just.
How do we know you're not infected, Phil?
Man, you cough a bit, he's a carrier.
I use a thermometer and I check.
I do too. I check my temperature every day.
How do you know you're not asymptomatic, Phil?
Well, I don't have any.
Well, do you know that they now think that the major amount of infections have been caused by people who are asymptomatic, so they just go out and do their normal lives?
But look, I'm at risk. If I had some sort
Of, if you were
whether-
asymptomatic, you wouldn't have a temperature, you wouldn't have a cough, you wouldn't have any of the signs of having it.
Yeah, but any of.
How do you know you don't have it?
Be affected so much faster by this.
How do you know you don't have it? When you go into these people's homes, do you wear a mask?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you wear gloves? Do you wear gloves?
Yes.
Are you lying to me?
Oh, wait a minute.
Put him under the hot seat.
He's really going into the houses? Phil himself?
Really? We don't have any work done now.
I had a guy come in to fix my alarm on Monday. I called up and canceled.
Yeah.
Well, I had to have a plumber
Somebody
get
in the house.
so my brother said somebody over.
Yeah. Yes, Jason.
So most people aren't canceling on me, and I ended up having to call it the other day because I had an employee that I work with who tested positive, and I have had close contact with him. So I put myself on quarantine for the next 2 weeks because I'm afraid I'm not going to get sick. And if I do,
Phil?
I might get just as sick as I am right now, like with just regular seasonal allergies. But then I might kill some old people. What got it to me the other day, I had a job at an old folks home and they let me in. What the fuck are you letting me in for?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Charlene.
Yes,
Okay.
Charlie.
They won't even
I
let me
heard-
go see my mother.
I heard that they're going to change rules in the nursing homes. I have a mother that's not. She's home with me. She's not in the nursing home. But I heard now on the news today that they're going to start. Isn't it nice? They're going to start checking things. They're going to change the rules in the nursing home. That they're going to start, checking everybody
They were
thoroughly.
going to
that's
check
coming
me at the
in and-
door. They were checking me at the door, and they had this little digital thermometer thing that they rubbed against my temple where I just came in from outside where it was 20 degrees out, and my temperature was 97.2 or something like that. I'd probably be dead if it really was. And I even said I had a sniffly nose, I had a cough, and they still let me in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now
They
we
shot
now,
my mother the
now
other
we've got
day in the
Bree's.
head.
We've got Bree's picture, but we don't have whose picture. We lost somebody's picture.
Kevin.
Yeah, you know something, Bree. Since you were the last one who called, I think I'm going to hang up on you because I'd like to have it. You know, this thing, the Skype cannot take more than we have right now. So
They're saying that Skype calls are being hijacked now. Have you been hijacked at all in the last
No,
week?
that's Zoom. They're calling it Zoom bombs.
I thought it was all social media callings that were.
yeah.
Before you hang up, let me figure out who it is.
Wait a minute, you're not coming through. That's who it is.
I see, Phil.
Turn yourself off and turn yourself back on again, Phil. That might jog it. But when we get to more than that, yeah. Let's see.
So
here.
how does he turn himself
There we
off
go.
and
There
turn
we
himself
go.
back on? Does he say, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican?
Yes, right.
I just put this under my shirt, and then
okay, yeah, that's
Lift up
very
your
fun,
boobs.
very funny, Phil. By the way, do you wash that when you're through?
This one's brand new. Matt, the one I have on my desk that I wear around the store, that one was washed once. This one's brand new, and washing it doesn't seem to affect the quality of it. They seem to be able to be washed very easily.
But you can't wear them twice unless you wash them. That's
Faye washes them.
Yeah. So anyway, it's I mean, also, I mean, it's good to see that you're getting into the whole socialism thing. It seems to be working out for you.
Hey, Bernie Sanders, I am, I got a button. But you know what? This button is even better. You Dems will love it. Mondale Ferraro.
Oh, that went up in a bomb.
What's that supposed to mean?
They'll draft him.
They got a school bus lady.
Who's got a hum? Who's got a hum on their phone?
84.
I keep seeing Bernie everywhere. I saw him again, somewhere on CNN. They interviewed him again, Bernie. But, you guys said, I think, Alex, you said, we don't see the other guy, Sleepy
Biden?
Joe. Yeah. Where is he? I haven't seen him at all, Biden. Like I
taking a
see.
nap.
I saw him yesterday on one of the shows. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just that there's no campaigning really going on.
Yeah, it's all Trump.
It kills me.
Except
I'm sorry,
except at 5 o'clock. Excuse me. Except at 5 o'clock every night when Trump goes on, their campaigning is going on. That's the
What's
campaign.
going on right now says we need a socialist in charge.
Yeah.
Well, Bloomberg was handing out these bandanas that said Mike 2020. Now, if I had one of those bandanas, I could wear one of those to work.
According to your boy, they're thicker than masks, the bandanas, he said the other day. They're thicker, much thicker than the masks, and they're better for you, he said.
I guess Bloomberg was handing out some pretty good ones, but even though I signed up for the Bloomberg mask, he didn't send it out. He ripped me off.
He did give you your free thing for free?
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be for free, and I was supposed to get matches that said Trump on it. Trump matches that you could burn them. And
yeah, did you ever get those? No.
No, he didn't send them.
He punked out. He punked out.
Now all I do is get it.
See that page, and then on the back there's some, and then here's another page. There, of all those, and then here's another page.
Of what?
Well, here's what they are: TV shows that aren't being done. Now, I could read you the whole list of the TV shows not being done, but then it'd be easier for me to just say every TV show isn't being produced, because that's pretty much what's happening here.
We may not have an Academy Awards this year.
Did you watch that interview, Alex, that I sent you of my friend Matt? He was doing a YouTube thing on beer.
No, I don't watch any of the things you sent me.
And Jeff Garland from Curb Your Enthusiasm, the Goldbergs, was watching them, and then so he did an impromptu interview with him. Jeff Garland was in his backyard, and he says that he's got nothing to do until August.
Jeff Garland, a major get for any show.
Well, hey.
I mean, I've had him on. Okay.
Yeah. You had him?
Oh yeah.
Alex, they can't film those things, right? That's why
Well, they
can't,
just it's
film
almost
them anywhere.
whether it's here or in Canada. A lot of the shows are done in Canada. I mean, you're not going to see any new Star Trek Discovery. You're not going to see any of the programs that are on the CW, like Batwoman and The Flash, and I'd go on and on and on. Shows like the Late Show with James Corden, well, they're doing a home version of that. Late Night with Seth Meyers, where they're doing a home version of that. Same thing with Steve Colbert. Nancy Drew, The Price is Right. No more Price is Right, because they'll go, come on down, and it'll take the person 2 hours to get there by car. I mean, it's,
You jump up and down and hug people. You can't do that.
You can't do that. My favorite show, The Resident, is not being produced. Let's see here, Saturday Night Live. Forget it. That's through for this year. Also, the Supreme Court is not producing any new shows this year. We heard they are canceling all their activities. Young and the Restless, Young Sheldon. I mean, I could go on almost every TV show. Then on streaming, there are all kinds of streaming shows like Lucifer on Netflix. That's going to impact me. Glow, Netflix.
See, you need to start advertising saying that Gabnet is still in production.
Yeah, Gabnet is still in production. That's right.
My daughter is working on the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She got hired by Amazon.
Is she?
9, and she's working from home, and they're still paying her.
Mm-hmm.
But
hey, Phil, is your daughter single?
She's living with a guy. and her boyfriend works for SpaceX. He's an engineer.
Yeah, I bet you kick his ass.
Yeah. Well, they're not sending up any spaceships any rockets because they're too close to each other.
Oh, they're building face masks or ventilators.
Let me see here. I mean, we are not going to have our lives back, I would say, at least until the fall.
You think we'll get football? I'm hoping for football season. I don't want to sound greedy, but I'm getting worried, man.
I would say you can probably not count on football season, and even if there is a football season, I don't think anybody's going to go.
I know.
We'll be open by Passover.
Yeah.
This is like a lost year, it seems like. It's going to be like 2020, the lost year.
Well, I mean...
Hey, see, just white people got the Mayan calendar math wrong.
Yeah.
You just had to do your Mayan math right, and it wouldn't have been 2012. It would have been 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Tony, every year is a lost year for you.
True, but I mean, no Yankees, no football. I mean, this is getting to be bad. Now this is getting bad.
That didn't bother me one bit. I never watch any sports, and
Well,
I don't even know what season.
Wait a minute. How in the world did Jason get a haircut? I'm jealous.
I'm gonna have.
Huh?
I bet you used the wall.
What I was going to suggest. My wife was talking to one of her people at her office, and he was. She said he's just been home, so he hasn't shaved, and he's growing a beard. And I think maybe what we all should do here on the panel, although I hate to do this to Rob because he just cut his off.
I just shaved.
But just say, how about nobody shaving?
Jim Carrey was doing that, wasn't he, on Twitter?
Yeah.
He was growing his beard for the whole
there's
pandemic
no
or
reason.
something.
There's no reason to
I
shave.
didn't shave for a week, but at the end of the week, I couldn't stand it anymore.
So. Josh, you're kind of quiet tonight. Anything?
Nothing in particular. Just listening.
Are you staying indoors?
I mean, other than when I have to go to work.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, there's not really anything open. You can't really do much. So.
But why are they keeping your work open? Is it considered essential business?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess everything here is open. There's really nothing closed.
And this is where
they're
again?
Supposed to be, but they're not.
Where?
Restaurants and bars and movie theaters and stuff
I
like
mean, that's really it. I mean, they put an order out that said only essential business, but the people that decided whether or not they were essential were the business owners themselves.
Yeah.
So naturally, everyone said, "Oh well, I'm essential." You know, I mean, no one's closing. No one's taking it seriously. There's still the same amount of traffic.
Unreal.
There's still the same amount of kids going up and down the street, riding their bikes, and I mean, which is fine. I mean, that's
And
what
they'll be
kids
the
do. But I mean,
And
nothing's.
they'll be the first ones to bitch when everything is held up and the economy is held up longer because they didn't cooperate.
Now let's talk to Patrick for a second because he lives in Wisconsin, right, Patrick? Are they going ahead with the primary on Tuesday?
Our governor can't get his head out of his ass and make a decision. The one thing that has been going on is early voting. We've had early voting in this state since that nasty, rotten Scott Walker was governor. Anyway, so we've had early voting and all of that everybody's been wanting. And, I mean, I voted absentee about a week and a half ago. The people I know have voted absentee or voted early.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to delay the election. The biggest concern I have, and I don't want to hear any of you say jack shit after I talk.
Okay. We won't.
Straight voter fraud, because if they decide to send everybody in the state, which is what they're talking about, a absentee ballot, I already got mine. And how many other people already got theirs and are going to vote again anyway? There's no way to really check that. And that is where I see the biggest problem. So I do believe if that's the case, there will be voter fraud in this state anyway.
Well,
That's
here's
a
the thing.
spoiled
Here's
ballot. They can't do two.
Here's the thing that I don't get. Okay, why? There seems to be a reluctance to go to a online ballot, and I know you're giving me a no sign, Jason, but my feeling is that I don't see how that is any less compromisable than mail-in ballots. I mean, you got a postman who sees one of those ballots and they know they're in a Democratic neighborhood and they go dump them in the lake, I mean, I'd say that I would feel safer with an online ballot than with a mail-in ballot at this point. Patrick had his hand up first, and then Jason. Yeah.
Alex, and I don't mean this in a bad way.
Yeah.
But almost every night that you come on the air have technical problems.
Yeah.
That right there is enough to make me not want online voting, because the technical problems state to state, you never know it fucking just bullshit. Not even stealing ballots or anything like that, but just technical difficulties would be a.
Yeah, well, I know what you're saying. On the other hand, I don't know that's what we have to worry about as much as I think. I don't trust the mails. Okay, to tell you the damn truth. Yes, Jason.
So, and if you look at statistics too, because I live in Macomb County in Michigan, and if every year that there's a presidential election, they always talk about Macomb County, because Macomb County is so easy to flip to left or right. So if you do online stuff, you can sit there and target the counties that are those flip-flop counties, and then you flip-flop them to the way that you want it to be, and people won't really question it, because Macomb County is really known to flip the whole entire state of Michigan to the right. So if you're to do that in Macomb County, you might not question it, where if if you actually leave it up to the people and you have a paper trail, you can question it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just think that for years, I think we could say many elections over the years, and we can say go back 100 years, have been rigged. In many cases, there's always some way to game the system.
Shouldn't make it easier.
Well, I don't think you're making it easier by going online with it. I don't know that I mean, how many times have we didn't trust? Here's what happens. People go in and they say, well, then I like to go and cast my ballot at my poll. Okay, so they go there and they do whatever they do, and they slide the thing into the thing, and the reader reads it, and then that gets. But the minute you do that, everything else is computerized. They send it to the main office, computerized. It goes over computer lines. So if what's the difference between doing it that way and doing it from your home directly? You get what I'm saying? Because there's no system today where the last couple of links aren't computerized links. Even if you've got a polling place. What?
Paper trail.
Have we ever gone back and looked at that paper trail? Very seldom.
I think every time that they have a poll in question, they do.
Yeah, well, I just don't. I don't know. I quite frankly, Americans keep electing the wrong people all the time anyway. So why should we care about it?
Yeah, if I'm correct, they get taken to the local county area. They get counted by machine, and then those numbers are reported. And then they're logged. They're kept at the county, and they're logged and certified. And then those numbers are reported. It's not like those ballots are transmitted. They're all kept in the local area, so they can be gone back over. They don't get transmitted. Those numbers are in a body somewhere.
Jeff's got his hand up. Jeff?
Yeah, I'm curious with Patrick. Do you have a different idea on doing it differently?
No, I don't think it needs to be done differently. I think, the mail-in ballot that we have, we've also got drive-through voting in Wisconsin right now, where, you drive up and they hand you your ballot, you fill it out, and then you put it back in, I believe it's an absentee ballot envelope, and you hand it off to the person there. So I don't know if Wisconsin is just an oddball out of the 50 states, but we've got enough things in place, I think, that everybody that wants to vote had the ability. We have same-day registration. We've got absentee early voting. Early voting started 2 weeks ago, where you go into your local city hall or town hall or whatever, and you can vote that way. So, I mean, I don't know what else people really want or need to make it more convenient. Like for me, I sign on online in January every year, say, send me the absentee ballot for the entire year, however many elections it's going to be. And 2 weeks ago, I got my ballot, filled it out, and you have to have a witness sign it, and it posted, paid, and done.
So you already did it.
What that?
You already did it. You already voted.
Oh yeah, I voted a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Jason?
So I wanted to ask, Josh is here, right?
Yeah.
Do you know if there has been a presidential election ever delayed in the history of the country?
Like this? Yeah.
No, not really. No, I mean,
there's never been one delayed. Even during the Civil War, they held the election.
we voted in 1864.
Yeah, let me ask.
Time.
Yeah, what I heard was, if in fact they find,
doesn't give a probability, doesn't give a possibility of delaying the election. It says the president must be installed, every 4 years.
Yeah, but
It
the
doesn't
thing
say there's
is,
any
the
option
thing
not
is, what
to.
I heard. This is what I heard is that if somehow I don't know, we can't go to the polls to vote because the country is just
Martial law.
martial law. It's just too much. If the president, if there is not an election held, and no president has been determined by that date, okay, or by within that time, by that election, the person who temporarily becomes president is the House Speaker.
Ah, Pelosi.
So Pelosi would become president. In other words, Trump could do everything he'd want to stall off the election, but he can't stall it because if he stalls it and nobody is voted for on that day, the Speaker of the House becomes president until one is elected.
Hey, you know, there's 11 people here. 9 of you tend to vote Democratic. How many of you are going to
Not necessarily.
or plan on voting for Bernie?
I already voted for
How
Bernie.
plan on voting for Biden?
I'll vote for anybody besides Donald Trump.
I would have a
nomination.
I'm voting blue no matter who.
Yeah, good.
Undecided.
Once they pick a nomination, I'm voting Democrat.
I think you're talking to a crowd of people here who would really be very happy to get rid of Trump, and that's the main mission.
I'm just wondering where they're sitting if they would actually vote for Bernie, and not Bernie, but Joe Biden. You know, I know that.
Well, no, I mean, I think all the people here would vote for Charlie. Likes Bernie, and so does Jason. But I'm sure that if Bernie didn't get the nomination and Biden got it, they'd vote for Bernie, right? I mean, for Biden, right?
True?
Yeah,
for everybody.
I would prefer Biden.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, Patrick.
When I did vote for Tulsi. But that's the only shot that I would have voting for her while she's on the ballot. So.
And it wasn't you liked her politics, you liked her tits.
Yeah.
And she will likely be my write-in.
Yes, yes. Your
She's
motto
gonna be
was
vice president.
"Stroke my vote."
She'll be the VP.
With the way things are going for Biden, maybe she will get nominated.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens as we get closer to the election, and if this thing is still relentless, and we still want to keep our distance. I mean, here's what's going to happen. There's got to be a point here at which people get so squirrely from being indoors all the time that we start seeing people going ballistic and going postal. Okay. Yep. We're going to see a lot of people.
Been a spike in domestic violence.
There is a spike in
I was
domestic
gonna say
violence.
that, right?
Yeah.
I heard it on the news tonight. Yeah.
So we have that to look forward to.
I think somebody's going to knock off Trump.
What do you mean knock off Trump? You mean off him?
Going to try.
Really?
Yeah, I really think
Wow.
You mean like they did
I don't see that.
or Ford?
Knowing Trump, he'll throw pens in front of him.
They tried it with Reagan.
I think the Republicans are gonna.
You want to see God so much?
Didn't they try it with Reagan twice? People took shots at him.
No, only once. Only once. Ford was attacked by
Fromm tried to kill Ford.
Squeaky Fromm, yeah.
Squeaky Fromm. Yeah. The Reagan actually got shot. I mean, he was in the hospital and everything.
Brady got hit real bad. Remember that?
Brady really got him bad. Yeah.
Here's a question. I wouldn't take a bullet for Trump. I can tell you that if I was one of those.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't see him coming.
Well, then you're the kind of person we want in the Secret Service.
Yeah, I'm going the other way. My mom's calling me. I gotta take it.
Yeah.
Would you take a bullet for your mother?
I would take it for my mom, but not for Trump. I tell you one thing, though. All joking aside, when I'm afraid.
By the way, don't talk this way because I don't want to get the Secret Service knocking on my front door. But the point is that they probably won't come because they're afraid of getting the virus. So
And he wants to be monetized.
Yeah.
Here's what I was going to ask you, Alex. What happens? Because right now we're all afraid. I mean, I am at least to be in front of crowds. I wonder if we're gonna have bad voter turnout. And who does that favor then?
That's why we gotta vote for mail, by mail.
That's what Charlie's right. We should just do away with the polls right now and just mail our votes in. Let's do it early.
Bernie Sanders.
They'll work something out, and I mean, it's a long time between now and then. They'll work out some way to keep people.
I hope so. I guess still waiting for the
but it's going to be an a badly weighted election, in that you've got Trump going on the air every night doing a commercial for himself.
Yeah.
Right, and Biden and Bernie, you hardly heard. Someone of you said, "When's the last time you heard from Biden? When's the last time you heard from Bernie?" And that's true.
Yeah, but he's making a fool of himself, Trump. He's getting on TV, but he's making a fool of himself.
But is he making enough of a fool of himself? I mean, you and I think he's making a fool of himself, but the fools who voted for him may think he's one of them. You know,
I love him.
Yes, Patrick.
Has anyone considered not watching him?
I don't watch him.
I stopped.
Right.
I've stopped in the last couple of days.
These guys are all like moths to a flame.
I mean,
lost to a flame.
I think when he lost me was when the My Pillow guy.
Yeah,
that was a bad one last Friday.
Got 10 minutes up there. You know, to plug his My Pillow.
Why is that?
I feel cheap. I have one of them now.
What were you saying? Wait, go ahead.
He's taking masks. So what's wrong with that? I mean,
well, he's going to be calling. He's going to be calling him My Mask. So.
Stop making it, Mike. I get my 10%. Remember that.
He's taking masks for the same people that are out there on the front line. Whether or not you like the guy personally,
I want to see how many masks that asshole produces.
Well, I tell you,
if he makes the mask, fine.
Probably only get the mask if you buy the pillow.
Patrick, you know why I find it offensive? Because there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
There are designers out there. I'll tell you, you know who's making masks? Major League Baseball and Fanatics, the company that builds the uniforms, they make the uniforms. They are taking all of the like you could get. I saw them, New York Yankee pinstripes, and they're making gowns and masks. MLB donated $1 million. They're not getting on television with Donald Trump because they don't support him. Exactly. This is all about a big commercial for Donald Trump and his supporters.
Well, that's fine, but at least give the guy credit, even if I agree that he doesn't necessarily belong at a White House press conference, but he should not be derided and thought of as Satan when he's doing something good.
You're right.
You're right, but the question is he doing good because he then wants to be able to get up and plug his My Pillow? That's the question.
Right.
We none of us will know his actual motivation in that respect.
And then he read from the Bible.
And we don't know exactly how many of those masks he is going to be able to produce and make any difference. I do agree with the fact that there are designers making masks, but they're not making them for the hospital workers. They're making them to sell. And I'll tell you what I heard today, and I want to know if anybody has any feeling about this. And I was talking to Rob about this on a private call today. And that was that SiriusXM has announced that they are going to allow everybody to listen to SiriusXM for free until the 15th of next month. And initially you go, well, gee, that's a nice thing to do. And then you think, no, it's not. What they're doing is they're trying to get people to start listening so that once they get used to it on the 15th, they start converting them to clients. Yeah. And so they're really not doing this for any patriotic purpose. Who had his hand up first, Jason or Phil?
I was just going to say, because mine's just a joke, is the Alex Bennett program on it?
No, it's not.
Fuck them.
Then fuck them, yeah.
Sirius is getting so desperate that they're willing to pay you to become a subscriber. I actually got a thing that said for $2.76 a month, I can get a 3-year contract if I'm willing to sign up.
Hey,
Now,
Alex, maybe you can get the same deal.
yeah, my thing runs out in November, and I got it for $5 a month. Now I'll get it for $2 and I think 76 cents.
But am I being a bit suspicious that this is being done so they can just they're using this disaster to get more subscribers?
You're right, Alex. That's what they're
all
doing.
doing it.
My social network company that does my website and so forth, they wanted me to put out a Facebook thing for the COVID-19 thing. And I said, I'm getting 1,000 of those from every company giving me COVID-19 advice. I said, I'm not going to do that to somebody else.
I'll tell you who else is doing it. HBO.
HBO is doing it,
HBO
right?
has a limited service that you can watch for free with a lot of their old shows and some of their newer ones. But it's, but my question is, yes, it seems initially nice they're doing it, but then really all they're doing it is to create conversions. Because I'm not going to ask for it because I already have HBO.
The fact that I'm getting that payroll loan through, they said, they're really not going to make any money, and if anything, they may even lose money on funding these loans because the interest rates are so low. But they said that they think they'll be able to pick up a lot of commercial clients that they wouldn't have had access.
That's what I'm saying. There are people who are using this to their financial advantage, and while at the same time pretending like they're doing something good.
But you know what? In a way,
which I go back to Mr. My Pillow.
That's a good thing in a way because at least somebody's making money and there's some money flowing in the economy.
My company does stuff for cancer, as breast cancer, as well as we're building houses for veterans and police officers, the smart houses. Built 51 so far, but we get publicity from that, and that publicity we use to help sell our products. So when you give, you always get something back, not because you want it back, but it comes back.
Yeah. Let me see here. Who's been quiet tonight? Kevin's been kind of quiet, and Jeff's been kind of quiet. Jeff, you got a comment?
Yeah. So a lot of people are trying to get this money for business.
Yeah.
And I know you're trying to do it, Phil. And a couple of my friends, they're having difficulties. All of a sudden, they made all the documents.
Right.
And then they said, oh, those documents are no good. We changed it. So you got to redo the whole thing.
I haven't experienced that yet, but today was the first day that you could upload any of the banks that were set up and to get the upload. Some of the banks aren't ready and aren't accepting the applications. The one I was dealing with sent me the thing this morning at about 11. By 1 o'clock, I had everything uploaded.
Okay. Yes, Charlie.
Well, I saw something online today that said it might be up to 12 weeks before we get that $1,200 they promised us.
Well, I hear
that
I'm getting it in a couple of weeks. I'm getting $2,400.
Yeah, if you have to wait for the check because you're not electronically connected, I think it could take several weeks.
It'll be till the middle of May.
Yeah.
That's still what 4 or 5. That's 6 weeks away. Why does it take 6 weeks to electronically transfer?
I prefer that they maybe would have done something similar to what was done in Australia, according to Doc Winters, and that was they just said no rents can be collected, no bill, nobody can be charged until after this is over for payments that are due, and then you're just picking them up from where you left off. In other words, all debts are forgiven for the next 3 months. I think that would have been a good idea.
Yeah, but if you do that, how do you stop people from abusing that?
What do you mean from abusing it? How would they abuse it?
What debts? If credit card debts?
All debts. In other words, you would have to make some kind of provision for credit cards. Like you can't use them either. or something
okay,
like that.
That doesn't work.
Well, of course, there is a limit on most of them anyway. So, you're not going to go charging yourself to a fare that well. And I think there's no saying that you don't have to pay them, but that the really people, all debts for the time being are forgiven. In other words, they're halted, they're put on hold. And that seems to make sense. Yes, Phil.
Now you're have a retirement and Social Security. Charlie is on a retirement and Social Security. What's his name? Some of the people are still working. Has anybody really missed a beat? What happens, Charlie, if you don't get the $1,200? Is your life going to be any?
No, I'm one of the lucky ones. Social Security's going.
Well, and in our case, Marjorie is still getting paid by her company getting a regular paycheck.
My argument is, why such a stink about waiting a few weeks for the $1,200 that you really?
Because I'm not just thinking about me. I'm thinking about other
people.
He's
talking about other people. For instance, to be honest with you, it's going to be nice to get $2,400. I bet that's wonderful. But we don't need it. Marjorie is still getting a paycheck from her company. I'm still getting my Social Security and my pension check every month. And, so we don't really need it. It's kind of like extra money. I think maybe they should have limited it to people who are not getting paid, because those are the people we're worried about, and that you simply, it should have somehow been attached to unemployment compensation. In other words, you go to unemployment in your state and they reimburse you 100% of what your salary normally is. Okay? And then the government reimburses the states for that. That would be a better way of doing it, and making sure that people get to pay the bills and things like that. What were you going to say, Charlie?
I said, yeah, I agree. That would have been a better way.
Yeah, this way is just a giveaway.
There's no common sense in government anymore.
Okay, Jeff, and then Patrick.
The right way.
Jeff, and then Patrick. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to give the money to some other kid in our who's my cousin's kid family, because they're out of work.
Yeah.
They're not getting anything. They were always on where they were getting paid on contract.
Yeah.
So there's zero.
Yeah.
Totally tapped out.
Patrick has his hand up. Patrick?
Yeah, my apartment, overseer, they gave us a break for this month. Every one of us renters saved $1 on our rent. It was the convenience fee for using a credit card to pay in advance that they waived. So we saved $1. So that was worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, so if you're not getting charged the convenience fee?
Right. It saved me $1.
Wow.
Sports.
Well, don't spend it all in one place.
I just think there are probably better ways they could have handled this and made it more equitable. I think, and there's one other factor here that hasn't even been brought up. A lot of people have been literally let go. Okay.
Yeah.
And once they're let go, what happens to their health insurance?
Bye-bye.
So that should have been accommodated. That if you had health insurance under your job and all of a sudden they let you go, your health insurance is taken care of.
You get a Cobra.
But do you know how expensive Cobra is?
For about $800 a month.
Cobra stinks.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than losing your health insurance. You can use your 12.
Well, how are you going to pay $800 a month? You don't have a job.
For Yang, you would have had $1,000 a month.
He's gone out the window.
If we had voted for Yang, a Democrat wouldn't become president. What were you saying, Tony?
You know what I think, Alex? I wonder, with this $1,200, for them to be giving this much money away and talking about another stimulus package, I have a feeling you ain't seen nothing yet with these layoffs. Because first of all, people can't even file in to unemployment because it's going down the site. I think you're going to have so many layoffs that you're going to have a recession more than the whole year.
Depression.
Because you know how I see it. Once they lay them off, even when they supposedly, like Trump says, they come back, these companies are not going to hire everybody back. Because what business is going to be left? They're going to lose customers.
Well, I was mentioning
mentioning
to my wife tonight. She's working from home. So are all the people in her office. And, you know, if I were her company, I would say, well, everybody's been able to keep this company going from home. Why do we need to pay for an office in New York City?
That's a good point.
You know, I think the same thing's going to happen to movie theaters. People are going to go, what do I need to go to a movie theater for? I've learned how to watch these movies at home, and now they're being delivered at home. Yeah. A lot of things after this are going to change, and a lot of businesses are going to go the way of the dodo as a result of it.
Restaurants and movie theaters are going to have to make more room between the seats and tables, and that could be a good thing for people going there, but prices will go up because they can't accommodate as
we
many
don't know. We don't know if this close proximity thing is going to continue after all of this is through. I think people will want it, however.
I think handshakes are over. And I think a lot of the things that we used to do are done.
Well, if you can't shake somebody's hand, how do you let them know you don't have a gun?
The crime will be down.
Because that's the reason it was invented in the first place.
You need faith, and yeah. I thought it was before guns. You know, it was like swords.
No, no, whatever. It shows you didn't have a weapon by shaking hands. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's where that comes from?
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
People still go to prostitutes.
What'd you say, Charlie?
And the people still go to prostitutes. How do you do that during the pandemic?
Well, prostitutes aren't doing very much business right now, but right hands of men are making a fortune. Jergens is right; it's off the map. Yes, Patrick.
One of the local strip clubs in the area, they've got 2 or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
They are all online now since the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can still see your favorite strippers. I found this on Facebook that all you have to do is log in and then you pay via credit card. You can watch virtually whoever your favorite stripper is.
Yeah, but what do you do about a lap dance?
Yeah, well,
I did a job for a guy that had this place on Broadway called $1 Talk to a Nude Girl, and it was behind glass. And so they sat in a booth, and they put the Susan B. Anthony dollar in, and then the glass had like a screen behind it. It went up, you got on the telephone, and you talked to the girl on the other side. And after a minute, you had to put another Susan B. Anthony in, otherwise the shape went down.
Yeah,
that's distance.
He's right about that.
Anyway, I just got a note from Jack that he may have to start a little late. I don't know why, but
it could go a little long.
Well, I could go long, but why? We'll just start yelling at each other, and at the end of the show, I think for the weekend we should all love each other and hug each other. But no, don't hug each other. We can't touch each other. But in any event, everybody move their hand over to the side here, and we can touch each other kind of in our own way. Yeah. Anyway, thanks to our entire panel here tonight, the wonderful and attractive Rob Alfano, and there is, of course, Charlie Wallace and Jeff and Charlene and Josh and Phil and Kevin and Patrick and Tony and Jason. I got them all. Why don't you
for a short minute?
Yeah, what?
You had Bree for a
short minute. Yeah. Sorry, Bree. We call earlier and we can get you on. Anyway, everybody, why don't you give a big wave goodbye, and I will give you a big wave goodbye back at you. Okay, there we go. There's our citizen panel. There's a good citizen panel. We had some fun tonight. We yelled a lot at each other, but what the hell? Isn't that what families do? Anyway, Jack Bishop should be coming in next, according to him, but he may be late by a couple of minutes. So if you don't immediately hear him go on, just come checking back in a couple of minutes and find out. Anyway, we'll see you again on, when is it? Tuesday Tuesday at. I didn't even tell you about my blood test. I'm not doing my blood test. I'm not leaving this house. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll be back again on Tuesday, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice weekend.